3 Easy Objects and 1 Difficult to See in the June Sky. Written by Frank Nelson, our local JPL Solar System ambassador. Welcome to the end of spring and the start of summer. As an astronomer, summer is both exciting and frustrating. Here at 45 degrees north of the equator, we only get a few precious hours of darkness each night in June and July. So I'm going to start off with 3 very easy objects to find and 1 not so easy but worth it. First off, we've got the Great Hercules Cluster, M13. This fuzzy blob is about half the size of the moon in the sky, easy to find, and on a very dark night, it is visible without a telescope. M13 is a globular cluster, a giant ball of stars about 130 light years across, containing over 250,000 stars. There are only 1,000 stars this close to our own sun. To find M13, wait until about 40 minutes after sunset. You'll need to stay up late for this one. Unlike many deep space objects, you can even see M13 in moderate light pollution and with a bright moon in the sky. So try this on any clear night this month. All of the screenshots, by the way, are from Stellarium, a free planetarium program. At 10 p.m., face away from the glow of the sunset towards the eastern sky. Arcturus, a red-orange star, and Vega, a bright white point of light, will be the first stars visible in this part of the sky. When both stars are visible, watch the area between them for some fainter stars to show up. Here is the constellation Hercules, and our first target. You will slowly start to see a squashed square of equally bright stars called the keystone of Hercules. It looks like the keystone at the top of a stone arch. Aim your binoculars or telescope at the wider part of that box, closest to Arcturus. With binoculars, you should be able to see both stars, and a fuzzy blob that is hard to focus on. Almost like it's an out-of-focus star. Stop, look, and take in the view. The more you look at M13, the more your brain pulls in and the more you start to notice. Even from downtown Belgrade or Bozeman, M13 will be faintly visible in a small telescope or binoculars. The next 2 easy targets are easy because they are visible without a telescope or binoculars. At star parties, people are often disappointed that most of the sights in the night sky don't seem to have much color. For that, blame our human eyesight. We just don't see color well in low light conditions. But stars are bright enough to trigger the cones in our eyes and let us see color, even in a small telescope. The first target, or the first star, is Razolgete, known as the head of the kneeler. Razolgete is a bright red giant that changes brightness slowly over the year. It is also a double star that can be split apart with a 4-inch or larger telescope. To me, it is distinctly red. Nearby is a star called Razolgete, the head of the serpent bearer, and Ophiuchus. The image below shows a triangle that makes up the head of Ophiuchus and the location of Razolgete. Compare the head stars and notice their color differences. Our third easy target is also a star, one of the prettiest ones in the summer sky. Alberio is a fantastic sight, one that I look at every night. I see it above the horizon. Alberio sits right in the middle of the summer triangle of Deneb, Vega, and Altair. It is a bright star, easy to find, easy to see, and even the wimpiest 10 by 50 binoculars will show you both stars in the pair. A telescope will show the color contrast even more. What colors do you see? Each of us see color slightly differently, and it is fun to watch people compare the colors of the 2 stars at star parties. Your difficult target this month is the famous ring nebula M57. M57 is in the constellation Lyra, the Harp. The 4 stars in a squashed rectangle under Vega. The two stars opposite Vega are easy to see in any sky, even downtown. The nebula is a bit tougher to see. Nearly directly overhead at midnight, M57 is bright but suffers from any heavy light pollution. Find a dark spot, let your eyes adjust to the darkness, and aim for the two stars at the end of the rectangle that makes up the body of the harp. M57 is an out-of-focus star, almost directly between the two bright points of light. The darker your skies, the easier it is to see the ring that gives M57 its name. And one final bonus target, above the body of the harp is another star that makes a triangle with Vega. This is the famous double-double star, Epsilon Lyrae. Aim a small telescope at this point of light, and it splits into two. Aim a 6-inch or bigger telescope, and each star splits again. And finally, every one of the objects shown in the screenshots, but not described, is something worth looking at. I'll talk about them later this year. Meanwhile, take advantage of the warm nights and wander around this part of the sky. The summer triangle surrounds one of the arms of our own Milky Way galaxy. With binoculars or a telescope, there is a lot to see.